Hello, I'm Mark Padilla, the president of the New Mexico Music Hall of Fame. During this time, it is very important to give some very deserving musicians the credit they deserve. We have some superb inductees that have contributed to the New Mexico music scene for decades. I would also like to thank the world-famous Pink Flamingos for being the host band for tonight's event, and also the world-famous Michael Ostosky for this beautiful set design. I thank you for joining us and appreciate your support of the New Mexico Music Hall of Fame. Our fundraising goals are to raise money to support Musicians in Crisis, MIC, which is a nonprofit organization to help the music community. I can't wait to get started, so may I please introduce our beautiful Master of Ceremonies, Jessica Garate from KRQE Channel 13.
Good evening, and what a great evening this promises to be. Thank you, Mark Padilla. I'm Jessica Garate with KRQE News 13, and what an honor to be invited to host this historical event. And I say historical because every year a new chapter is written in the ever-evolving list of honorees that are inducted into the New Mexico Music Hall of Fame. And this year's 2020 class is, as always, exceptional. I would like to commend the Board of Directors who, amidst these challenging times, managed to continue the task of presenting this very important ceremony. Since the conception of the New Mexico Music Hall of Fame, founded by Michael E. Sanchez, whose early visions of permanently honoring New Mexico-affiliated entertainers continues to grow. In 2019, the decision was made to turn over the reins to current Board of Directors President Mark Padilla, who immediately organized the current regime, and in doing so, the visions continues. One of the prominent goals of the new board is more community involvement. So we encourage everyone to please reach out to us simply by visiting our website, NMMHOF.com. Well, no music show would be complete without a musical performance. So I would like to welcome everyone to enjoy international artist and New Mexico's very own, the Pink Flamingos.
Do you guys ever have one of those days that just goes by and you don't even notice? Like you're driving in your car and you're going somewhere and suddenly you end up at your destination and you think to yourself, how did I even get here? Oh, me too. So we wrote this next song to remind ourselves that creativity comes in many forms, but being there for it is the most important part of all.
You gotta do what you do while you're doing it. Do what you do, what you do. You gotta do what you do while you're doing it. Every single second is brand new. When the singer sings her song, you wanna sing along. Just
listen to the music while it plays.
And when the dancer moves her feet, sit down, take your seat. But don't you let your life slip away. And when the chef serves up that food, show some gratitude to the
kitchen and the farmer and the seed.
With the sunshine and rain and earth from which it came, and the gods that gives us everything we need.
You've gotta do what you do while you're doing it. Do what you do, what you do. You've gotta do what you do while you're doing it. 'Cause every single second is brand new.
I gotta do that, bada da do that, bada da do that.
Do what you do while you're doing it. You gotta do what you do while you're doing it. Do what you do, what you do. Yeah, you gotta do what you do while you're doing it. 'Cause every single second is brand new. You've gotta do what you do while you're doing it. Do what you do, what you do. Yeah, 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 you gotta do what you do while you're doing it. 'Cause Every single second is brand new. Every single second is brand new. Every single second is brand new.
We are honored to have traveled all over the world, from India, France, Austria, to Bermuda, Bahamas, and the Virgin Islands. But there's nothing quite like performing in our own beautiful home state of New Mexico. Take it away, Jessica.
Wonderful, and thank you to our very own the Pink Flamingos. Well, it's time to begin this year's 2020 induction ceremony. Let's get started. Our first of 7 recipients this evening hails from our state capital, Santa Fe. And this is truly a family affair. So let's meet the Lopez family.
My friend came in from Los Angeles and I told him, you must come out to the Palms and hear one of the best bands in the world. And he thought that was a little bit crazy. I said, no, Paul, his name is Paul, obviously. I said, one of the best bands in the world.
Loved it. Absolutely loved it.
It was off the chain.
This band is awesome. I came from Atlanta, Georgia.
I've traveled 300 miles. Wherever they go, I'll be there.
On trumpet.
Santa Fe originally started? How long ago that was?
Yeah. The original band Santa Fe was born out of a family band. A family band called Los Hermanos Lopez y la Compañía, the Lopez Brothers and Company. who were my father, my older brother Gilbert, my younger brother Lenny, and our cousins Agustin Sr. and Agustin Jr. And we were, in New Mexico playing regional music, which is, Spanish and Mexican music and, country music. And, growing up in Santa Fe, to play in a band there, you're playing a James Brown song and a Hank Williams song, and then, Volver with mariachi overtones. So, but we went on the road, and we ended up in Las Vegas because Vegas seemed like a great place at the time. We've been going on the road, going from Denver to Phoenix to El Paso to, and then we'd come through Vegas, and all these guys were going from the Tropicana to the Hilton to Caesars. Their road trips were smaller, and they had nice cars, and they had homes, and so we kept coming back to Vegas. And our first gig here, we were still playing Spanish music in Northtown in a little bar called the Scarlet Wagon, where we were the band and the bouncers. Okay, it was rough.
The band and the bouncers.
Band and the bouncers. It was a rough place. So you would never go there, okay? You would never go there. But someone saw us there and introduced us to an agent by the name of Bobby Morris, who then got the band as the band for a topless review called Get Down. And I remember his first question was, Jerry, do you guys mind playing in front of topless girls? I was 19, Gilbert was 20, Lenny was, 17. I said, no, we have no problem at all with that.
The question should have been, can you actually keep playing?
Well, I told him we just have to lower the straps a little bit. No, we're good.
Let your bodies go. Do it while you can. Yeah, yeah. Dance, dance, dance. To the river, dance, dance.
Anyway, so we stopped playing Spanish music and all that, and learning all this music, current music for this topless review. It made us, we started doing what we really want to do, because I before that, once I'd heard James Brown and Tower of Power and these other groups, Stevie Wonder, big influence. We just shifted, and Bobby Morris, the agent, he's still around. I just saw him not too long ago. He's sitting in his office. He goes, "We got to figure out a good name for you guys. There's Chicago, and there's he goes, where are you guys from? Santa Fe. Santa Fe. That's the name of the band."
That was it.
So that's it. So that's how Santa Fe was born.
Listen to me. I'll tell you where it's happening.
What was the makeup of the band in those days?
Well, at that point, we had a drummer. My brother Gilbert played bass. I played guitar. Lenny played trumpet and congas, and my cousin Agustin played saxophone. And we had a keyboard player. So it was a small band, 2 horns.
Okay.
Oh, and then we had one other saxophone player. That's right. So we had 2 saxes, trumpet, and a basic rhythm section.
Okay.
Is it fine? Dear Miss Lizzie, she will say, will you come home with me? Take her hand and lead her to the dance floor. You will see it's done so easily. You will find the people there are dancing, doing steps.
And so how did it go from that, what you were guys doing then, into what it is now, which is a 15-piece?
Yes. Well, what happened is that coming back to Vegas, we morphed into a lounge band, but not a lounge band in the traditional sense when somebody thinks lounge band. We worked the local nightclubs first, and we did a lot of original stuff, and we were kind of, we didn't really want to work the lounges. Back in the 70s, in those days, being a lounge band was wearing polyester pantsuits with ruffles or tuxedos and playing tie a yellow ribbon around the old oak tree, and and we were resistant to that. But we had an entertainment director from the Mint Casino come see our band. We used to play late night. We were the late night hang, which is, by the way, where I made most of the connections that I still have today. Because everybody would come through Vegas and they'd come out and they'd come see our band, and we were working from midnight to 5 in the morning. So all the musicians and the bands that were in town, they'd come hang with us. Anyway, this entertainment director, he says, you know what, I'd like you to come to the Mint in the lounge and do what you guys do. And we were like, well, you know, we got to bring in our own PA. We got to. It hasn't changed. It hasn't changed. So we did though. So he said, no, we want you to do that, and you'll come on after these lounge acts, and you'll start at your, you know, you guys usually start at midnight, and bring in your own stuff. And you know, there was a lot of resistance. I talk about that in the song When the Curtain Goes Up. I talk about the resistance that the old school lounge guys had to our band coming in, you know, and but you know, we earned their respect, and so that's how it happened. We started doing the lounges at that point. We worked the lounges for many years, up until a point where we felt that, you know, the budgets kept getting lower. The entertainment directors now weren't really entertainment directors. They were people that came out of food and beverage or out of marketing or even the gift shop, and I'm not kidding.
Okay.
And so they didn't really respect what any of us were doing, and the lounges were getting worse, and we decided that we would go our own way and spread our wings. I went out on tour with Tom Scott, Bill Champlin, and Lenny went with Luis Miguel, and we all kind of went our own ways.
Yeah.
So that ended the period of us doing lounges.
1976.
Santa Fe drove into Vegas town, looking for a gig, had our hair grown long. You know, we were looking kind of scruffy and rough around the edges.
That would be Lanny. That's right, it was the first one.
Pepe Jimenez, back from tour.
Hello. Mark Padilla, nice meeting you.
Nice to meet you too.
Pepe's been on the road with Carlos Santana. He's doing a documentary of your life.
Of your life. This is your life.
Hi everyone, Emilio Castillo here, band leader for Tower of Power. Just sending out a big shout out to Jerry Lopez and his whole family. I just found out you were inducted into the New Mexico Music Hall of Fame. Nobody deserves it more than you guys. New Mexico, you should be proud. Jerry Lopez, one of my favorite musicians in the world, and all his family, talented musicians, great people, and I'm honored to be able to say congratulations on the Hall of Fame in New Mexico. God bless you. Bye-bye.
Hey now, this is Billy F. Gibbons from ZZ Top, wishing congratulations to the Lopez family for induction into the New Mexico Musicians Hall of Fame. Keep making that good music.
Hi, this is Bill Champlin. I just wanted to take a few seconds and congratulate the whole Lopez family for their induction into the New Mexico Music Hall of Fame. No one is more deserving than all of those guys. I've learned more from Jerry and Lenny. Just to forget about it. A lovely family, great musicians. Great. Congratulations, Jerry and Lenny. Go for it. See you soon.
Hi, I'm Cleto Escobedo, currently the musical director for Jimmy Kimmel Live. I want to extend my congratulations to the Lopez family for their induction to the New Mexico Music Hall of Fame. They've given me immeasurable musical knowledge, and I would not be in the place that I am in today without that family, without Gilbert Sr., Gilbert Jr., Lenny, my mentor Jerry Lopez. So happy for you. God bless, and congratulations.
Hey there, my name is Gilbert Velasquez. I'm a producer engineer out of San Antonio, Texas. Listen, years ago I heard about this band called Santa Fe. Being a musician myself here in Texas, we heard about this band from New Mexico. It's a hot band, you know, the talk of the town here, so to speak, in Texas. Years later, I come to work with Jerry on a couple of projects, most notably a collection of songs that his dad wrote. We did it in a Tejano orchestra type of style, and Jerry did all the vocals. Lenny helped out. Great production, and I want to say talent runs in their blood. They must be very proud of that. It's my privilege to be able to congratulate them here onto their induction into the New Mexico Hall of Fame. Congratulations, guys, and the best to you all. Have a good one.
Hi, my name is Greg Field. My wife Monica Mancini and I want to join the chorus of congratulations on this prestigious honor for Jerry and his family. Aside from being a great musician, Jerry is a man of great character and compassion, and that certainly informs his music. On behalf of the Henry Mancini family and me, we wish all of the Lopez family a hearty congratulations and thank the New Mexico Music Hall of Fame for their great taste. Congratulations.
Back in the late 80s and early 90s, I used to sing in Las Vegas, Nevada, which was a dream come true for a little girl who grew up in Espanola, New Mexico. And little did I know upon arriving in Las Vegas that some of my paisanos from Santa Fe were the hit of the town. All everybody talked about was, you gotta go see Santa Fe, you gotta go see Santa Fe, which I did, and I became an instant fan. I mean, they had amazing vocals and they took their musicianship to a whole other level. And I have always been impressed and admired their talent, and they are just outstanding performers. They used to pack their lounges every night, and they still do, before COVID. And I still follow them when they do their bi-weekly shows and on the internet. And I've had the opportunity over the years to get to know the Lopez family. And at one time I worked with Gilbert Lopez, and more recently with Jerry Lopez and Lenny Lopez on the Jerry Lopez and Friends show that he does at the Lenzik every year. And I think one of the highlights of my career is that I got to record a duet with Jerry Lopez. We recorded a song called Fue un placer conocerte. We made a music video and we won 2 New Mexico Hispano Music Awards. One for Vocal Duo of the Year and one for Mariachi Song of the Year. So I cannot think of a better family of musicians to be honored by the New Mexico Hall of Fame Award this year. The new inductees, the Lopez family. Because these guys are my friends. Thank you guys for being my friends. You guys are amazing. You're amazing musicians. You've inspired me to be the best that I can be as a musician from having known you and from all the shows that I've seen you guys live and on the internet. And you continue to amaze me. You guys, have passed the test of time. You guys are fabulous and timeless, and you are the greatest. And I want to send you my most heartfelt congratulations. There's nobody more deserving of this award than Santa Fe. Congratulations to the Lopez family, and may God continue to bless you guys.
Hi, my name's Jamie Hosmer, and I have personally witnessed the influence that Jerry and Lenny Lopez have had on the music industry, especially here in Las Vegas, Nevada, the entertainment capital of the world. It is my honor and privilege to present them into induction of the New Mexico Music Hall of Fame, class of 2020. Congratulations.
Hi, this is Jerry Lopez in Las Vegas, Nevada, and I want to thank the voting members of the New Mexico Music Hall of Fame for inducting the Lopez family into the 2020 class. I'm honored, as well as my brother Lenny, and I know that my father Gilbert Sr. and my brother Gilbert Jr. would have been ecstatic to receive this great honor. I want to congratulate all the other inductees and let everybody in New Mexico know that we love you and we love New Mexico music.
Hey, this is Lenny Lopez here in Las Vegas. I just want to let everybody back in New Mexico know how proud and honored I am to be inducted into the 2020 class of the New Mexico Music Hall of Fame. It's such an honor, and I want to congratulate all the other inductees also. And I wish my father and my brother Gilbert were here, and I know how proud they would have been to be part of this as well. And my brother Jerry, we've done a lot of stuff together, and this is one of the greatest achievements that we've ever had. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Really appreciate it.
The New Mexico Music Hall of Fame is a 501c3, and like all other nonprofit organizations, we depend on you, the public, to contribute so we can continue our work. If you are interested in donating, simply visit our website, newmexicomusichall-of-fame.com. New Mexico Music Hall of Fame, a supporter of Mike, Musicians in Crisis.
This is so exciting. Congratulations to the Lopez family. Well deserved. Well, let's move right along. Our next inductee has an extensive story in the entertainment industry and has influenced countless musicians here in New Mexico and beyond. But if you ask the people that know him, they simply say they enjoy his company. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Peter Amal Amaral.
Hey folks, this is Earl Poole Ball, and I'm calling in a little congratulations to my good buddy Peter Amal Amaral on his induction of the 2020 class of the New Mexico Music Hall of Fame. Congratulations to you, Pete. I can't wait to see you and get to play some more music.
Brother Pete Amal, oh my goodness, do you realize that we've known each other for 35 years? And I will never forget the first time you walked through my front door. I had no idea of all the epic goodness that you are. And what an extraordinary honor to get to tell you congratulations. And brother, you deserve every single beautiful thing that comes your way. The way you are to people, the way you are to strangers, the way you are to this life is exemplary. And I couldn't love you anymore. Congratulations. Mwah.
Hey Pete, it's Andrew out here in sunny Southern California. Hey, I'm sporting a COVID do. What do you think? Anyway, congratulations for being inducted into the New Mexico Music Hall of Fame class of 2020. Nobody deserves this award more than you do. You've been doing this a long time. I met you in 1969 in Boston. We played together. Natalie Cole was the lead singer of our band.
Have you needed somebody and that someone didn't you? Have you been brokenhearted and nothing?
Then you moved to New Mexico, and one day my phone rang and you called me up and said, "You want to come play?" And I was on the next plane. We played at the Ramada Inn on Cerrillos Road. 5 sets a night, 6 nights a week. I was so lucky to be able to play music with you and to know you. You are one of the most unique, creative, greatest drummers I've ever played with. Keep doing it, Pete. Keep going. I'm going to get out there and see you soon. Congratulations, my brother.
Hey Pete, Doug Lawrence here. Man, I couldn't be more happy or more proud to know that you've made the New Mexico Hall of Fame, Musicians Hall of Fame. It's a great honor and nobody deserves it better than you. As you know, and as a lot of people know, you're my favorite drummer here in New Mexico. And I know I'm in good company because Mose Allison and Richie Cole and the great Eddie Harris felt the same way about you, and it's all about one thing, the field. So, I hope you have a good one, celebration, Pete, and I want to come up and see you up in the hills where you live, but you told me you walk around naked all the time, so, I might honk my horn first before I show up. All right, man, I love you. Later.
Hi, I'm Steve Feld. I'm a trombonist and an anthropologist and professor, and I'm just calling in to congratulate Pete Amal on being inducted into the New Mexico Music Hall of Fame. Pete, I'm absolutely thrilled that you've received this honor. You've given so much to the music and so much to me and all of your friends, everybody who had the opportunity to play with you over the last 50 years. This is a really fantastic moment, and big hugs and congratulations and shabble dabble.
Hello there, this is Junior Brown, and I want to take this opportunity to congratulate my dear friend Pete Amaral for his induction into the New Mexico Music Hall of Fame. Pete and I have been playing together since 1974. We started there at the Golden Inn in Golden, New Mexico, and Pete, Tanya, and I are really proud of you.
Hi, Pete, it's Greg Abate, your brother, and I'm congratulating you on your induction to the Music Hall of Fame, and no one deserves it better than you, Pete. We miss you, and I can't wait to get back out there to play some jazz with you. It's always great. We have a ball, and like I said, if it wasn't for you, I would not be out there probably doing what I do today. And I met so many wonderful people out there thanks to you, and I wish you all the best for the future, and I hope the gigs come back soon so we can get back to it again. Well, take care up there on the mountain, and I hope you keep in touch and have a ball. I love you, Pete. Kerry says hi, and the boys say hi too. Take care. Bye.
His percussion skills have opened doors for him both around the USA and many parts of the world. As a member of groups like the Drifters, the Coasters, and Martha and the Vandellas, to name a few, his musical background is well-versed. As a member of Junior Brown's band, his opening act credits include superstars Bob Dylan, Toby Keith, and the Dave Matthews Band. It's certainly quite the resume. A major contribution to New Mexico came when he was one of the founding members of the legendary organizations, the New Mexico Jazz Workshop and the Madrid Jazz Concert Series, which introduced the likes of Eddie Harris and Richie Cole, which began a rich culture of concerts and music clinics, which have continued to this date.
Hi, my name is Sarah Ribello Amaral, and I'm the proud daughter of Peter Amal Amaral, one of this year's inductees into the 2020 New Mexico Music Hall of Fame. Growing up with my father as a musician, it left an incredible life. I was introduced to some of the most amazing world-renowned artists, musicians that created incredible music on the fly, live music that would just come together on stage and just create magic instantly. I later on realized as an adult what a privilege it was to be introduced to all of these artists as a child. From finding out later on that some of these artists I had been around were people that were studied in universities or aired internationally for jazz. From later on finding out that Richie Cole, someone who I'd considered an uncle, was the music director for the Manhattan Transfer, one of my favorite groups growing up, to finding out later on that he was the sax player on one of my favorite Eddie Jefferson songs, Janine. It was a pivotal moment of my life to find out that some of these artists were so big and such a large part of the music community, not only nationally but internationally. Eddie Harris, somebody who as a child I had always thought was a king because he always introduced himself so regally, later on to hear a Beastie Boys song mention his name, and that was one of the groups that I had grown up listening to. That was my my genre of music. As a musician and as a father, he taught me a lot. He taught me that drums were not just rhythmic, but they were also musical. And to this day, I'm still yet to hear drummers that are as musical as him. It's very rare, far and few in between. He also taught me that if you were going to say something with your instrument, make sure that you're saying something, that you have something to say. You're not just speaking just to speak. And that sometimes things can be more important in silence and in space than actually just being heard. He is a trove of musical facts and history, and I can't think of anybody who is more deserving than this award. And he has helped me mold me into the person I am today as a woman and as a musician, and I'm so grateful for him. There's no greater love. That is why it's my privilege and honor to be able to induct my father, Peter Amal Amaral, into 2020's class of the New Mexico Music Hall of Fame.
Well, I can't tell you how honored I am to receive this award from the New Mexico Music Hall of Fame. New Mexico, it's been a privilege and an honor, in fact, to have lived out most of my life in this state. I want to thank everyone that's helped me out throughout my life, along with the people that were enabled me to be standing here before you. I'll point out a few people, but I can't go on and on because there's been too many. And I want to make mention of Hillary Smith, because I know that she's always been an angel behind me. I also want to bring out Tony Lujan. I met Tony when he was 17 years old, and I knew he was something. I knew he had something good going, and he played his butt off. I didn't come here. I came here actually to reorganize a band that had fallen apart in Denver, and I found myself falling in love with New Mexico, and realized it was a place that I would want to stop and raise a family. And in fact, that's what's kept me here throughout all the years. This lady on the side of me has been a major part of it. And then those that's helped me through, in all different ways, in fact, by giving me venues to bring people in that I had come across in my travels and had played with, and now I'm on the backside of things, looking at the horizon. And from this place, I want to tell you, thank you for giving me an incredible life here. I'm speechless at that point.
It can truly be said that this man is not only a very accomplished musician, but a walking musical historian. Congratulations, Peter Amal Amaral. This is such a musical night that I don't think I'm alone when I say I'd like to hear some more live music. Once again, help me welcome internationally recognized New Mexico's own, the Pink Flamingos.
That feeling inside my bones, it goes electric wavy when I turn it on. All through my city, all through my home, we flying up no ceiling when I'm in my zone. I've got that sunshine in my pocket, got that good soul in my feet, feel that hot blood in my body when it drops. Ooh, I can't take my eyes off it. Feeling so phenomenally. More like the way we rock it, so don't stop. No. Under the lights, when everything goes. Nowhere to hide when I'm feeling so close. When we move, well, you already know. Just imagine, just imagine, just imagine. Nothing I can see but you when you dance, dance, dance. Feels good to be here with you when we dance, dance, dance. Come on! Nothing else I wanna do when you dance, dance, dance. Ain't nobody leaving soon, so keep dancing. I can't stop the feeling. You dance, dance, dance. Can't stop the feeling. Keep dancing. Hey, you! Yeah, you keep dancing. Hey, and you, by the computer, get on up and start dancing. We can't stop moving. We're so happy to be grooving. Breath and body today. Yeah, let's celebrate. Hey! Can't stop the, can't stop the, can't stop the. Nothing I can see but you when you dance, dance, dance. Feels good to be here with you when we dance, dance, dance. Nothing else I wanna do when you dance, dance, dance. Ain't nobody leaving soon, so keep dancing. Everybody sing. Got this feeling in my body. Got this feeling in my body. Come on. Got this feeling in my body. Yeah. Got this feeling in my body. Break it down. Got this feeling in my body. Yeah. Got this feeling in my body. Got this feeling in my body.
Good evening, New Mexico, and congratulations to this year's 2020 class. We are the Pink Flamingos, and we're so excited to be here with you tonight. Let's get this celebration started.
Back to you, Jessica.
Well, I guess this group really does get around. Another great performance by the Pink Flamingos. Okay, let's get back to business. It can be said that accomplished musicians always develop a wide fan base, but when a musician's talents truly impress fellow musicians, it becomes a special compliment. Our next inductee meets that criteria. Let's meet Albuquerque's own Tim Pierce.
I don't know about that, but it is definitely customized. You're never gonna forget it's yours.
No.
Oh, all right.
Treasure this. Thank you.
Try this now to
Okay.
substitute for that distortion.
Great.
So. Now put the reverb on.
Yeah, I was waiting for permission.
Hey, this is Tim Pierce, and I'm jamming in the van at NAMM 2020. I am from Albuquerque, New Mexico, but I've lived in Los Angeles and worked as a studio musician starting in 1979. I moved there when I was 20 years old. I've been playing guitar since I was 12. I got obsessed at 12 and never looked back. My first guitar came from Sears, and it was a Harmony. It took about a year, but I ended up in the late 60s with a used Strat. My hands always sweat really badly, so I would burn up a set of acoustic strings within minutes in the studio. When I tried elixirs originally, they literally changed my life, and now I can leave elixirs on a guitar for months. It sounds smooth and even for weeks and months. The tone really stays the same throughout the life of the string.
The great thing about a compressor is that as a guitarist, you have so much dynamic range. You know that when you pick, it can be 100 different grades of soft, medium, or loud. So a compressor allows you to be as dynamic as you want, but for the listener and for the music, it brings up the quiet parts and softens the loud parts so that everything comes out even, and it's a great thing to listen to. I was surprised when I fired up the CP1X at the amount of clarity and definition it gave me. It really seemed to follow and adapt to everything I played. No matter what style I played, this compressor always seems to react in a musical way. Whether it's country picking or very aggressive clean R&B, or heavy rhythm, or even distorted lead soloing, it always enhances what I'm doing.
An Albuquerque native who grew up and attended Highland High School. At a very young age, he fell in love with the music that he heard on the radio in the 60s. At the age of 20, the obvious move was to Los Angeles, where he had immediate success both as a studio musician and a performance guitarist. So much that he landed the lead guitar position with international sensation Rick Springfield. This went on for several years as Tim toured the world. In the late 80s, Tim decided he would make the move to dedicate his efforts exclusively in the studio. This turned out to be a monumental decision, as he quickly became one of the most sought-after studio guitarists in the world. He was named one of the top session guitarists by Guitar World magazine. Tim has recorded well over 1,000 sessions, and just to scratch the surface, names like Phil Collins, Rod Stewart, Seal, Michael Jackson, and the list goes on and on.
Congratulations, Tim, on getting inducted into the New Mexico Music Hall of Fame. What a great honor. When I was a young guitar player in Albuquerque, I got the chance to see you play at a nightclub called Studio One on East Central. I said, wow, what an amazing guitar player. I saw you play and I was like, this guy's going to do some great things. And sure enough, you did. You ended up being one of the top session guitar players in the country. I'm very proud of what you've done with your guitar program, TimPierceGuitar.com. You teach a lot of kids, a lot of up-and-coming guitar players. You're getting the new generation of people ready to play some great guitar, which I think is amazing. I think you're following in the footsteps of Steve Mays, which I thought was a great person to also. Keep in touch, and congratulations.
Greetings and good day, everybody. My name is Mikey Wright. First, I'd like to go out and thank Abe Torres, Mark Padilla, and all the fine folks here at the New Mexico Hall of Fame for asking me to be the guy to induct my old friend and colleague, Tim Pierce. Now I know how Keith Richards felt when he inducted Billy Gibbons into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Like Billy would say, have mercy. I became friends with Tim in middle school back in the early 70s. I remember Tim suggesting that I bounce from my current guitar teacher, Bob Brown, at the old Ducattis on San Mateo, and study with Steve Mays. This guy will open your mind up on the guitar. Steve became our Yoda, our go-to guy, opening our ears to many new styles of emerging music back then. Well, somehow we made it through Highland High School, playing in rival bands, and right into the hugely vibrant Albuquerque music scene that was happening at that time. I remember Tim coming over to see me at the guitar shop one afternoon. He had just returned from a recon mission in Los Angeles to see if he was going to move out there. I remember him telling me he was so blown out by this band that he saw, and the guitar player was just freaking on fire. He just couldn't explain how insane it was and how he wanted to get out there and participate in that. Well, it turns out that that band was Van Halen, and that guitar player that was on fire was EVH. R.I.P. it. Well, not long after that, he made the big move to L.A. Lands with some really good housemates in North Hollywood, lands a few good solid sessions, and by the stroke of God's good graces and Tim's absolutely awesome guitar skills, he lands in the company of Mr. Rick Springfield. Not a shabby gig in 1972, right? That exposure and silky smooth style got him on John Waite, Bon Jovi, Kenny Loggins, many records that he was getting out that time. Soon enough, Mr. Pierce is solidly one of the cats in the LA session world, with the likes of Steve Lukather, Mike Landau, and his great friend Leland Sklar. Tim, for the next four decades, stacks up hit after hit, record after record, literally thousands and thousands of recordings under his belt. From Celine Dion to the Goo Goo Dolls, from Santana to Michael Jackson. The list is endless. Tim has tracked for all the best in the world, period. And through it all, he's never lost his ground by remaining humble and honest, always taking time to just hang out, be one of the guys. Through my 20 plus years living and working in LA, at Voltage Guitars, working on The Voice with many, many big stars, every player, producer, engineer, guitar guy, amp guy, even rock stars that I talked, all spoke highly of you, Tim. Not only for your talent, but how easy it is to work with you. And I can say you are a huge influence in the guitar community and one of the most respected players on this rounding, spinning rock that we're on right now. And on a personal note, just know this, Tim. When you did move to Los Angeles, I wasn't only happy and excited for you to chase the dream, but equally happy and excited that I no longer had to fly in your shadow here in Albuquerque. So it's with great honor and personal pride and great respect I wish to induct you, Tim Pierce, to the New Mexico Music Hall of Fame. Congratulations, Timmy.
Hey, it's Tim Pierce. Thank you so much for this award. I'm so honored, and it's actually quite beautiful. It means a lot. New Mexico means a lot. I always knew it was a magical place. Growing up, I knew that Albuquerque, I had so much pride in Albuquerque and the whole state. I mean, the sky and the weather and the geography and this endless horizon that you could see. I think it created space for dreams. I know that sounds corny maybe, but in my case, it was the absolute truth. Now, I moved to California right when I was 20 years old, and that was necessary so I could have a career and work as a musician. But I always have had a place in New Mexico and have always come back a lot. And my wife is from New Mexico. I imported her, so I have as much New Mexico as I can with me at all times. I was born in 1958, and I did not leave Albuquerque until the end of 1979. And that was one of the best periods in music ever. So I grew up listening to Top 40 radio, which was magical in the 60s. The Beatles, Glenn Campbell, Otis Redding, B.B. King. It was endless. And then FM radio and all the bands like Cream and Jimi Hendrix, who was my number one inspiration. And a lot of guitar players. Nothing unique about that. ZZ Top, Led Zeppelin. I got to see a lot of these people. I mean, my mom wouldn't let me go see Hendrix because I was too young. I didn't falter for that. But I did get to see Zeppelin, ZZ Top, Jeff Beck. So many people. I went to the Pit. I went to Civic Auditorium. I went to Johnson Gym. So many great places to see music. So many great bands in Albuquerque too. And when my band Traveler started to get busy, the Planets, they were actually a lot better than us, but our reach was always a little further than our grasp. But we did okay, and it was a really good time in my life. But New Mexico has always been really, really magical. And so I moved to LA at the end of 1979 and started working kind of right away because it was pretty, looking back, LA was actually a pretty nurturing place. There was a lot of stuff going on and it was easy to kind of jump in. But I've always come back to New Mexico a lot. And but I want to talk about the person that helped me the most. And he was from New Mexico. He has passed. Steve Mays. A lot of you probably knew him, and a lot of you probably were taught by him. He was very generous. He touched a lot of people's lives. My only training and education in music is from Steve Mays, and that was only from age 12 to 14 for 30 minutes a week. I learned so much from him that it allowed me to come here and exist in rooms of other musicians who had been trained at universities all over the world. And I squeaked by. And it was because of him. And now he and I later got in a band together. I think I was around 19, right before I left and came to LA, 18, 19. And so I got to experience that with him also. But he is the reason I've been able to do this. He was an extremely generous person and always cared not only about your musical journey, but making sure that you were okay emotionally, physically, your well-being was intact. He really wanted to help people in addition to helping people play the guitar. So I dedicate this to him. Now, I was always able to work a lot here in LA, and it's been quite a few decades. If you go to allmusic.com, that's where my discography is. I wouldn't mention it here, but it's all, or you can Google me. It's all there. But I have a new chapter, and I actually have an online teaching business, and I have a small team of people that help me make these videos. And that's why I'm here. I have a camera in front of me all the time. I use YouTube to promote it. And I only say this because a musical career can be many things, and it can be your whole life if you're willing to have a view that's really, really wide. I always knew I would teach someday, but I never realized that I'd be able to have an actual business with employees and teach people through technology. And that's what I've been able to do. I started about 10 years ago. And that, in addition to sessions, that's kind of my life. And I always felt very lucky to have grown up in New Mexico in a multicultural environment. Also, I felt lucky to be around all that crazy science. My dad worked at Sandia Corporation, and I grew up next to Kirtland Air Force Base, so I would ride my bike onto the base and watch the planes for hours. It allowed me to have a lot of big dreams, I think. I also want to dedicate this award to Eric Larson, one of the most courageous and talented and wonderful and kind people I've ever met. Very, very inspiring human being in the face of great challenges. Thank you so much, Eric. This is all also for you. So congratulations to everybody who won these. And I'm really honored, and I can't wait to come back and hang out with my fellow musicians in New Mexico. Got to be patient for that, but looking forward to whatever's next and to coming back and having some green chili and hanging out with all you guys. Thanks so much. Onward and upward.
The New Mexico Music Hall of Fame is a 501c3, and like all other nonprofit organizations, we depend on you, the public, to contribute so we can continue our work. If you are interested in donating, simply visit our website, newmexicomusichallofFame.com. New Mexico Music Hall of Fame, a supporter of Mike, Musicians in Crisis.
I think we all now know why this is a great addition to the 2020 class of the New Mexico Music Hall of Fame. Congratulations to Tim Pierce. Moving along, one of the ultimate achievements in the music industry is the ever-elusive Grammy. Well, this three-generation addition to the 2020 class has accomplished just that. Let's all meet the Baca family.
Por mi madre yo soy mexicano, por destino soy americano. Yo soy de la raza de oro, yo soy México-americano. Yo te comprendo en inglés, también te hablo en castellano. Yo soy de la raza noble. Ya no te quiero ver, tienes que comprender, lo nuestro terminó. Amor entre tú y yo, tú me trataste mal, no piensas regresar, ya no te quiero hablar, ni te quiero mirar. You treated me so bad, and now you want me back. You cheated with another, I caught you in the act. Será mejor así.
Yeah. You got it, Josh? I was interested in getting to sing Deportee for so many reasons, really. I mean, meeting Max and to be part of a project he was involved in really appealed to me. I'm of course a Woody Guthrie fan, and it's just one of his classic songs, and it is as relevant today as it was when he wrote it. Choosing whether, because of the different versions, some versions say deportees every time, and some versions say deportee, and saying deportee makes it more personal, doesn't it? More one-on-one, and so they're flying you back to the Mexico border. It's an honor to sing those words.
They're flying you back. They're flying them back.
Right. Depends on the message in the song is it's exactly the point of the entire project. It really does speak to the idea that all people should be treated with dignity. I listened to that Johnny Cash, Johnny Rodriguez version, but I thought Arlo Guthrie might have be a good representation of his dad's song.
Yeah.
And for sure.
The only thing he had with that, he went to.
There's so many great styles of music to learn about and to just to listen to. This is the first time I've gotten to record with a Tejano band, and it was a thrill to hear Josh play the accordion. It was just amazing. And to hear Max play that the basso sexto, that great intonation. I mean, you have to live with that instrument to be able to tune it the way he does. It's a sound unique to that style of music, and playing music is a joyful experience. What makes it joyful for me night after night is playing with wonderful musicians. Getting to play tonight with Max and Los Tex Maniacs, it was thrilling to stand in the middle of them and sing.
I like that. That's nice. Yeah, that's nice.
Good?
Yeah.
The Baca family, who, like many others here in the state of New Mexico, their musical history dates back several decades, and in this case, 3 generations. It began with Max Baca Sr., quite the accomplished accordionist and musician who in the 50s competed and organized accordion battles with musicians from our neighboring state of Texas, where accordion dominance was always evident. But guess what? Max Baca Sr. held his own. Henceforth began his friendship with players like Flaco Jimenez and others. In the 70s, brothers Jimmy Baca and Max Donnie Baca Jr. began their solo musical journeys when they formed the highly regarded group Los Hermanos Baca and had major success in the state of New Mexico and beyond. A major move to Texas by Max Donnie Baca Jr. soon followed, where he founded the Grammy Award-winning group Los Tex Maniacs. He was joined by third-generation musician Josh Baca, who is the son of the brother of Jimmy Baca. It didn't take long for Josh to become a household name in the conjunto scene. The Tex Maniacs were sanctioned by the Smithsonian as ambassadors to the world, representing conjunto music.
Good evening. I'm Little Joe, and I'm very happy and pleased to know that my dear friends, La Familia Baca, are being inducted into the New Mexico Hall of Fame. I met Max and Jimmy Baca when they were very young, and I'm proud to know the rest of the Baca family. It's been my pleasure to play music with all 3 generations of La Familia Baca in many parts of the country, but they have never forgotten their New Mexico roots. So it's my honor to welcome the Baca family into the New Mexico Hall of Fame. Congratulations and well deserved.
Back in the mid-1990s, I had the privilege of recording an album at Joey Records in San Antonio, Texas. And more than that, I had the privilege of working with Max Baca, who recorded on 2 songs, played bajo sexto on 2 of the songs that were on the album. And so I got to know Max during that time, and I had known him before, but just kind of, informally as we crossed through gigs doing the state fair and things like that. And it was really exciting to work with him. He's a top-notch professional. He's really great on that bajo sexto. He's the king on the bajo sexto. And it was cool because I remember he took Flaco Jimenez to the recording studio with him when he did the tracks. And when I got back from San Antonio and the album came out, I put a band together, and I was fortunate enough to get his brother Jimmy Baca, who's a great, talented accordion player. So Jimmy Baca played in my band, and we played a lot of those songs that we recorded on the album. And during that time, I remember behind the scenes as we'd go to shows, my son Santiago was a little boy, and he used to carry around a little plastic toy guitar. And Josh Baca was a little boy, Jimmy's son, and they were around the same age, and they used to kind of jam out, air guitar and stuff like that. But you could tell they already had music in their genes. So fast forward to now, and it's really cool to see Josh Baca now as part of the Tex Maniacs, the Grammy Award-winning group, that's from New Mexico, which is really awesome. Very inspiring to all of our young talent, and to see Josh, how he's developed into this international world-class artist that he is today, alongside his uncle Max. And to see Santiago, who's also developed into a music artist. So it's great to see the next generation following in the family tradition of music. And so the Baca family is part of my family. I've known them for many years. We've shared many great times together, and it makes me very, very happy to see that they are inducted into this year's New Mexico Hall of Fame. So I'd like to wish them a great, big, big congratulations to the Baca family. Bendiciones.
Hello everybody, my name is Benito Gonzalez, aka Spanky. I'm very pleased to call the Baca family my musical colleagues and friends. To me, they're more like brothers, and the family in general is like my extended family. I was the drummer for Los Hermanos Baca for many years. I knew the father, Max Baca Sr., and he was a fantastic musician. And much like my father, they were instrumental in passing on the gift of music to the next generation, which was myself and, of course, Max Jr., Jimmy, and now Jimmy's son, Josh. And here comes the birth of the group Los Hermanos Baca, formed by brothers Jimmy and Max Jr. The group had much success in the state of New Mexico and beyond. I was fortunate enough to come along and be able to join the group in about 1990, 91. It was amazing. I was blessed, kind of surprised that they asked me to join the group at the time. You know what I mean? Being that they had so many other great drummers to choose from. It was a blessing at the time. And it was like chemistry. More than just being musicians and playing in a band together. We developed a relationship like no other off the stage. You know what I mean? We go fishing, hang out, play poker. It was, you know what I mean? All of us could talk to each other about our personal lives. It went way beyond the music. So therefore, this being able to help induct the Baca family into the New Mexico Hall of Fame is very special to me. 3 generations of squeezers, Max Sr., Jimmy, and Josh. These guys, while all their performances, their music, their playing, everything speaks for themselves. There's nobody that plays like them. They're totally in their own class. We had so many great years of playing together. As Donnie progressed and left and went on to play with Flacco and the Texas Tornadoes. I stayed playing with Jimmy here in New Mexico, and we continued on until it just fizzled out. It would be great to be able to live those days all over again. Maybe one of these days we could get together with all the guys and put this thing all together, man. It would be great. I think a lot of people around here would really love it. At that time, Donnie finally made a move to San Antonio, where eventually he created his own group, the Tex Maniacs, where later on was joined by his nephew, Josh Baca. And therefore winning a Grammy in 2010, which was, that's an outstanding award. That's an accolade that all musicians shoot for. And I'm proud to say that I was able to play with such a caliber of musician. One of the greatest bajo sexto players ever. Through him, he allowed me, through Max Baca, I'm saying, he allowed so many musicians to play with such other gifted musicians. He was never selfish. You know what I mean? Through him, I was able to play with Flacco. Through him, I was able to play with Joel Guzman. Amazing musicians. David Farias, Michael Guerra, accordion player for the Mavericks. The list goes on and on. Amazing bass player like Oscar Garcia, who also plays accordion for Los Garcia brothers. it's amazing. It's amazing. Those are experiences I'll never forget. As well as being able to do a small tour with Flaco Jimenez on the West Coast. But all of that came through Max Baca. He had confidence enough in me to be able to help them do that. As we continue on, the Baca's family musical history will continue, and it'll continue until the end, until Josh is done, or however. But even though if it ever happened, they would be gone, the music will still continue. The music will continue playing. With that, I just want to say I'm here speaking on behalf of Max Baca Jr., who, like thousands of people across the country, are battling COVID. Actually, right now, he's at home recovering from COVID, which we are so happy to hear. And we include him in our daily positive thoughts and prayers. Mi amigo de corazón. I would like to thank the New Mexico Hall of Fame in inducting the Baca family in this year's 2020 class. So with that, I would like to say congratulations to the Baca family, my brothers forever, musically, spiritually, and like familia, outside the music business, forever. God bless you guys, and congratulations.
I'm Josh Baca, and I'm very happy and honored to be a part of the New Mexico Music Hall of Fame. Thank you, New Mexico Music Hall of Fame, for inducting my beautiful family, the Baca family from Albuquerque, New Mexico. My grandfather, Mr. Max Baca Sr., and my father, Mr. Jimmy Baca, and my uncle, Mr. Max Donnie Baca, and now third generation, myself, Mr. Josh Baca. Muchas gracias, everybody. Thank you to all our friends and family all over the world. And thank you to all my musical brothers and sisters all over this wonderful universe. And thank you to all the gente and all the raza in Albuquerque, Nuevo Mexico. I love you, New Mexico. I love you, Albuquerque. I miss you all so much. And God bless. And everybody, que viva la raza!
Hello, my name is Jimmy Baca from Los Hermanos Baca Band, and I am accordionist of the group, and I am very honored to be entered into the Musical Hall of Fame, New Mexico Musical Hall of Fame. It's an honor and a privilege, and I want to give a special thanks to everybody who has entered me for this award. Special thanks from my brother Max Baca Jr. and my son Josh Baca, and myself, Jimmy Baca, my dad, Max Baca Sr., and everybody who's included, who's entitled, all the New Mexico musicians, Mr. Abe Torres, and everybody who has helped me out through the years of hard work and struggle for this award. Thank you very much, and God bless everybody. Thank you.
Tierra del Encanto. My name is Max Baca. Those of you might know me as Donnie Baca. And I am 100% Nuevo Mexicano. Very proud of it, and especially honored to be here with you guys and sharing this beautiful evening. Congratulate all the people that are inducted in the Hall of Fame of New Mexico Music Hall of Fame. I'm very blessed and very fortunate to be here after fighting COVID 11 days in the hospital. I thank you for your prayers, and I just want to say on behalf of the Baca family, I've been very blessed and have won so many different awards, but this one is special because it comes from my home state and it involves my whole family and the 3 generations of music. So I want to say on behalf of my father, Max Baca Sr., on behalf of my brother, Jimmy Baca, and on behalf of my nephew, Josh Baca, and of course myself, we humbly and honorably accept this award for the New Mexico Music Hall of Fame, the Baca family. Thank you. God bless you guys.
Ambassadors to the world straight out of New Mexico. I think that says it best. Again, congratulations to the Baca family. And now it's time to welcome back our wonderful music entertainers this evening, the Pink Flamingos.
all of these lies in my face getting clearer. The past is gone. It went by like dust at dawn. Isn't that the way everybody's got to send life to bed? Well, I know nobody knows where it comes and where it goes, and I know what everybody's saying. You got to lose to know how to win. Half my life's in books, written pages. I've lived and learned from fools and from sages. You know it's true. All the feelings come back to you. Sing with me, sing for the years, sing for my life, but sing for my tears. Sing with me if just for today, 'cause maybe tomorrow the good Lord take you away. Yeah, sing with me, sing for the years, sing for my life, but sing for my tears. Sing with me if just for today, 'cause maybe tomorrow the good Lord take you away. Dream on, dream on, dream on, dream until your dreams come true. Dream on, dream on, dream on, dream until your dreams come true. Yeah. Oh, dream on, dream on, dream on, dream on, dream on, dream on, dream on.
The New Mexico Music Hall of Fame is a 501c3, and like all other nonprofit organizations, we depend on you, the public, to contribute so we can continue our work. If you are interested in donating, simply visit our website, newmexicomusichall-of-fame.com. New Mexico Music Hall of Fame, a supporter of Mike, Musicians in Crisis.
And thank you once again for that wonderful performance. The Pink Flamingos, everyone. Our next inductee represents a very important facet of music in our state. The ladies. She was a friend to all us super talent, often referred to as the First Lady of New Mexico music, and arguably so. This is Linda Cotton.
All of me, why not take all of me? Can't you see I'm no good without you? Take these lips I trust, might wanna lose them. Take these arms, I have no more use for them. I said your goodbye.
A lady who is adored by all who knew her as well as her fans, and this is Linda Cotton, a native New Mexican who graduated from West Mesa High School right here in Albuquerque. Linda became a household name in the local and regional music scene, and was referred to as New Mexico's First Lady of Music. For 30 years plus, she could be found donning concert halls, clubs, and hotel lounges throughout the state with a beautiful yet powerful, unique voice. She was once a special guest vocalist with the New Mexico Symphony at the prestigious Pope Joy Hall. She also found time in her life to serve as a community advocate, where she was on the board of directors with the Barrett House, which was a shelter for homeless women and families, and also the Alliance for Albuquerque Animals. Linda was credited with opening the door for many of our talented female vocalists who followed. Sadly, we lost Linda much too young at an age of 55 in 2004. But her music and memory will be forever enshrined in this year's 2020 class.
Hello everyone. I was blessed to perform with my friend a number of times throughout the years. She was always kind, always funny, and knew how to command a stage. She set trends and put New Mexico on the map. Please help me in recognizing the accomplishments of the late, great Linda Cotton.
Hello, I'm Morris Euling, former fire chief of the city of Albuquerque, and I would like to congratulate the family of Linda Cotton on Linda's induction into the New Mexico Music Hall of Fame. As a young firefighter, I had to make a choice between music career and fire service. And although I chose the fire service, Linda always encouraged me to get back to the stage and perform. I was always a great fan of her music, and I was amazed at how she would perform and work a room when she performed. She would come off stage and she would work the room and talk to people and make people laugh. She always made us feel special and welcome. Linda had the type of voice. It was so unique that even when you heard it and you didn't see her, you knew it was Linda Cotton. We will always miss her. We will always miss her music and her great smile. Congratulations.
Hello, my name is Tom Zanotti. I'm proud and humbled to be here to induct Linda Cotton into the New Mexico Music Hall of Fame. I was a longtime friend of Linda, having met her first in 1978. We became very close. We did a lot of things together. Took her on our first balloon ride, and she was, despite being a plus-size woman, very agile, and she was a terrific dance partner. In any case, we were very close, and her passing was, still is, a shock. But I'm very pleased to be here and to introduce Linda's brother, Woody, to receive the award posthumously in behalf of Woody's sister, Linda. Woody?
Thanks. I appreciate this medal that Linda's receiving. She did a lot of good things for lots of people, and I sure appreciate her being honored at this time. And I'd like to thank all the people that were involved in selecting her for this award. And she's surely missed by myself and lots of people. She made a lot of really nice friends and made a lot of people happy with her music. And I'm humbled to receive this award on her behalf. Thank you.
What a wonderful story and truly an iconic figure in New Mexico music history. Again, a big congratulations to Linda Cotton. A term that is often used in rating high-level artists is world class. So what does that actually mean? How do you become worthy of that title? Well, let's meet the next New Mexico-bred musician, And we will all find out. Ladies and gentlemen, this is trumpeter Tony Lujan.
Hey, my friend Tony. It's Leland Bond here. So Little Hummingbird said that you were going to be in the New Mexico Hall of Fame for music. How about that? Well deserved, my friend. Even though our professional careers have never crossed paths, you've done an amazing job, and I watched your development over the years, man. Good stuff. Congratulations. Take care. Bye-bye.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen on the committee. My name is Ed Wolf, and I'm happy to be able to support Tony Lujan's nomination to the New Mexico Hall of Fame. Tony came to me as a junior in high school at the suggestion of his band director, Fenton Katz, at Manzano High School, to take trumpet lessons. Tony was one of those exceptional trumpet students from the very get-go. He would go home, he would practice what I gave him, he would come back the next week, and it would be ready to go, plus lots and lots of questions. He was one of those people that was very, very conscientious about playing the Brandt studies, the Charlier Transcendental studies, the Arbenz book. Whatever I gave him, he'd go after it and he'd learn to do it. In his senior year at Manzano High School, Fenton hired Clark Terry to be the guest soloist. And when Clark came, Tony talked to him about maybe getting a trumpet lesson. Clark did sit down with him and gave him a trumpet lesson, and was so impressed by Tony's improvisational skills that after he graduated, shortly after he graduated, he invited Tony to go on the road with his big band, where they toured Europe and many other sites. Tony was one of those exceptional trumpet players who grew exponentially as he continued to play with all kinds of big names in the jazz field. As a member of the California Alliance for Jazz Hall of Fame, I'm particularly happy to be able to endorse Tony for this honor. It's a virtual honor, and I'm not sure exactly everything that's going to happen that night, but to be able to endorse him is a wonderful thing. Now, as Tony went on as a professional player, he also became an educator and a clinician. As a clinician, as he got older, I hired Tony to come out and solo with my San Dimas High School jazz bands. He came out twice as my guest soloist, did a wonderful job, and most recently, 2018, soloed with my professional big band, the San Dimas Jazz Workshop Big Band in Covina, California. He's a wonderful clinician, a wonderful player, and I'm most happy to be able to endorse him wholeheartedly for this high honor.
People think you're going to go to New York and make a lot of money. Well, you don't make much money locally. I was fortunate because I worked with Tito Puente, Eddie Palmieri, and the big acts, they took care of us.
Sure.
But had I not had that, well, they're working for the same price they're working here for the local gigs.
Really?
But in New York, you get hooked up with the tours. Also, the press is right there. You show up in New York, you start to play. Before you know it, you're in Downbeat Magazine or some magazine because somebody showed up to the club.
Yeah.
When I worked with Ray Charles, that was a great experience because he's the only guy I ever auditioned for.
Really?
And he put me through a 12-hour audition. He flew me in from New York. I sent him a tape of me and Johnny Griffin and Tete Montolu playing.
Sure.
And he liked that quite a bit, and he called me up. And he said, I want you to come down and play my band. You know, I got to hear you. You sound good, kid, but I got to hear you with my band.
You want to hear you in person?
In person. So he flew me down there, 12-hour audition.
Really? Wow. So was he playing with you during
the whole band?
Yeah, the whole band. Okay,
The whole band.
Yeah.
He'll rehearse 12, 14 hours a day.
Oh, that's.
And we
that's a
played, and we
musician's
played,
life.
and we played. And when he hired me, I felt like, wow, the genie hired me.
Yeah.
Everyone else, I just got the gig.
That's great.
But he actually auditioned me, so it was an honor, and it kind of gave me some fortitude on myself to think like, man, maybe I can make it in this business. It was one of my first gigs besides Clark Terry. Clark Terry was my first tour. And then I went to back to Vegas, and I worked at the Dunes Hotel. The Dunes Hotel alone for 3.5 years. Then I got the call for Ray. And yeah, he was quite the person. I worked with 3 blind people, Ray Charles, Tete Montolu, and Stevie Wonder. And from working with 3 blind people, I realized that they see more than us and hear more than us.
I hear that.
Clark Terry, I used to call him the jazz Dalai Lama, basically. Because there's one of the guys that, I mean, he taught Miles, he taught Quincy. I was one of his students. Winton was one of his students. Roy Hargrove, just to name a few. Everybody had a chance to go study with Clark, and he was always there to donate his time. Tito Puente opened up the whole Latin world for me. From Eddie Palmieri. I spent 4.5 years with Tito, 6.5 with Eddie Palmieri. And I ended up playing with, Pete Conde, Canario, India.
Yeah.
You know, when I played with Luis Miguel, he'd pack in 180,000 to 240,000 people a night. We're playing hard, real hard.
Yeah.
You know, and the good gigs, you're all playing hard because you're playing larger venues.
Sure. What was the largest venue?
Glastonbury.
How many people?
260,000 people.
Oh my goodness.
10 stages. Yeah, we had like an hour to kill. We took a walk and we got lost. Where are we? It was like
funny.
Woodstock. You come in and there's like miles and miles and miles of parked cars.
Right.
And then miles and miles and miles of tents. And then you get to the huge venue.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah, but I like playing larger venues because then people are there to listen. I give a lot because I mentor students throughout the last 35, 40 years, I guess.
Yeah.
Or just last year I gave away in Chile 5 flutes, 5 clarinets, 3 trumpets, and a trombone to kids.
Did you play elbows?
No.
Play them all?
I play trumpet and flugelhorn, little congas. I write from the piano, and percussion. I like to sing and scat.
Yeah.
I don't consider myself a jack of all trades. I just want to be a master of one.
There you go.
But I'm still working.
Well, I heard the master earlier.
Oh, I don't know. Like they say, you know, I'm a student of music. That's what I tell people. I practice every day. I used to call Clark Terry at 2:30 in the morning. CT, what's up? Yo, baby. What you doing, CT? Practicing.
Yeah.
89 years old, he's practicing.
That's okay. That's life.
That's what you got to
do. It's a way of life.
Practice.
Yeah.
I mean, we played with Tony Bennett one year. It was in Vegas. I came in from Los Angeles.
Tony Bennett?
Tony Bennett, yeah.
Really?
I played with him a couple different times. He's come to Blue Note and
that was great.
Check us out. And at the end of the gig, it was a New Year's Eve gig. And at the end of the gig, Frank Sinatra would do this too. He'd be waiting there to shake your hand, give you a big hug, and give you a bottle of Dom Perignon.
Really? My goodness.
You know?
That's a great memory.
Eddie Palmieri, Tito Puente every night. Thank you, boys. Thank you, boys. Thank you so much. Whew, wow.
That's amazing.
Some of these younger people, it's all about me, 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 me.
Master trumpeter Tony Lujan, whose credentials read like the who's who of world-class jazz musicians. This native son of New Mexico credits his initial music interest to his father, who played trumpet, accordion, and was a vocalist growing up in the Albuquerque public school system's music programs. Tony showed incredible potential early at age 14 and a member of the Albuquerque Youth Orchestra, he was to meet for the first time another person that Tony says changed his life, and it was world-renowned jazz giant Clark Terry. Tony became his apprentice and says that Clark not only coached him in jazz, but explained the spirituality that is more often than not gifted to this level of player. His credits are much too numerous to list, but I'll mention a few: Ray Charles, Dizzy Gillespie, Frank Sinatra, Tito Puente, Eddie Palmieri, and so on.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Abe Torres, currently the Vice President on the Board of Directors with the New Mexico Music Hall of Fame. But tonight's about my very dear friend and colleague, fellow trumpeter, Mr. Tony Lujan. Tony came into my life when I was a senior in high school, when he was highly recommended by several colleagues, and he actually became my first private instructor. I had come up through the school system as a trumpet player, but realized that before my college year started, I should pursue some private instruction. When I first went to Tony, I asked him, what do I need to do to learn my way around improvisation? Should I start learning all my scales? Should I learn my mixolydians? Should I learn my blues scales? All the above? He says, I'm going to cut to the chase with you. That's after he heard me play for a little bit. And he taught me 2 fingering patterns on my trumpet. And he said, you'll never be at a loss for improvisation if you memorize and instill these 2 patterns. Sure enough, that became my Bible. That was the biggest influence I've had to that point in my career as a trumpet player. And I owe it to Tony Lujan. So when he asked me if I would present him into the 2020 class of the New Mexico Music Hall of Fame, I was very humbled. When you talk about Tony and you meet Tony and you know more and more about Tony, the stories never end. They're incredible. He sits there and talks about playing with Frank Sinatra, Tony Bennett, Ray Charles, the way I talk about playing with some of the local cats. He's been around the world. He's a master trumpet player, an incredible composer, and he's never forgotten his humble roots from New Mexico. So today, it is with much pleasure and pride that I present Mr. Tony Lujan to the 2020 class of the New Mexico Music Hall of Fame. Congratulations, Tony.
So beautiful. First of all, I'd like to thank Mr. Michael Sanchez for starting this beautiful organization, Mexico Music Hall of Fame. A bundle of talent has come from the state. I'm proud to be associated with New Mexico. As I traveled the world and they say, Tony Lujan from New York, I always say, no, I'm from New Mexico. So I carried the flag. I'd like to thank Mr. Mark Padilla, acting president right now. My dear friend, Abe Torres, vice president. I know you had something to do with this, and I thank you. He's my student, but now he's my teacher. That's the way it works in life. I'd also like to thank my parents, my sisters, my brothers, my son, Miles Lujan, my son, Mitchell Lujan, my daughter, Tiana Lujan, Amber Lynn, for the joy they've given me in life. I'd like to thank people that have helped me in my career. Mr. Kenny Anderson, my first trumpet teacher, who was introduced to me by my elementary teacher at Mission Elementary, Martha Beecham, who introduced me to Kenny Anderson. From there, I went took a few lessons with Mr. Bob Farley. Bob Farley should be recognized. He had a great music store, and he gave me the privilege of walking into his store and taking whatever I needed to become a better musician. The list goes on. Mr. Fenton Katz, who was my high school teacher. And then I landed up studying with Mr. Ed Wolf, who is still a mentor of mine and a great dear friend of mine. From there, I went to New Mexico State University, and I studied with Sam Trimble, who helped me in my career. And then I went to the University of Nevada, studied with Walt Blanton, and that's where I studied with Dick Alber, Chuck Flores, and Mr. Carl Saunders, who became another mentor of mine. These types of situations cannot be done by one man alone. This award belongs to all the people that have helped me in my career. Clark Terry took me on as a young child. I was his apprentice, and he opened up the doors in the jazz world. And then I met Mr. Ticho Puente, who became another father figure and mentor, and he opened up the Latino world for me. This belongs to them. Mr. Eddie Palmieri, who helped my career. It's an honor to receive something like this. Everybody knows I'm really not an awards kind of guy. I get kind of embarrassed, and I'm just a student of music trying to keep up. I was just trying to pay rent in all those days, but to receive an esteemed award as this beautiful award right here from my home state, from my peers, my local peers, my dear friends who I grew up with, that really means a lot to me. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. May God bless you, and thank you.
Well, I trust it's a little clearer what the meaning of world class is. Credentials truly worthy of that title. Congratulations to Tony Lujan. And now this is only the second time that this award has been presented. And it is the New Mexico Music Hall of Fame Michael E. Sanchez Lifetime Achievement Award. The recipients of this award are and will always be a much more exclusive society. This year's award goes to a person who not only elevated the national exposure and level of music in New Mexico, but literally changed lives in the process. We introduce you to Mr. Val de la O.
En este momento estamos platicando con mi amigo Frank Chiwiwi, que nos acaba de ofrecer esos bonitos números musicales. Frankie, ¿cómo estás?
Muy bien, ¿y tú?
¿Cómo te ha ido? Oh, me dijeron que no te pusiera el micrófono. Al cabo tú tienes tu micrófono ahí, de veras que sí, hombre.
Vamos, Frank, te felicito por esa magnífica grabación que
Gracias.
acabas de ejecutar ahorita. Y naturalmente yo y Frank trabajamos mucho tiempo juntos, hombre. A ver si me da chance de cantar, ¿verdad?
¿A cuál canción quieres cantar tú?
Esa que dice, ¿cómo va?
Yo me siento...
Oh, yo me siento muy ufano al matar con mi marrano.
No, hombre.
Mano, qué bien programa. Nomás que yo estaba observando una cosa, Valentino. Se me hace como que le falta algo así, un poquito cambiadito, ¿no?
Sí, hace falta que te bañes, fíjate.
Y en esta ocasión, amables amigos, quisiéramos presentarles esta entrevista que conducimos con el gran actor Anthony Quinn, hace 5 o 6 años pasados. Con ustedes, Anthony Quinn.
Señor Quinn, ustedes planean ahora hacer otras películas aquí en Nuevo México, ¿no?
Si quiero regresar aquí, voy a hacer una película sobre la vida de...
Y aquí los tenemos en carne y hueso y un pedazo de pescuezo, a El Hurricane y a El Hurricane Jr. y a Baby Gaby. ¿Cómo están, muchachos? ¿Cómo les ha ido?
Muy bien, gracias, Valentino. Estamos agradecidos de estar aquí.
Pues qué bien.
Muy bien, sí.
Qué bien que vinieron a vernos. Se vino muy bien, muy jóvenes todos. Oye, pero ¿cómo te puedes sentir, joven, cuando tienes a Al Hurricane Jr. ahí sentado?
Oye, pero pues, no le digas que ese es Junior si no quieres, dile que es mi hermano.
Le voy a decir que es tu hermano.
¿Cómo no?
De presentarles a los hermanos de la O que nos van a cantar Sabor a mí.
Tanto tiempo disfrutamos.
Y en esta ocasión para cantarnos Capullito de Alelí, Lamento Borincano y Campanitas de Cristal, con ustedes los Tres Haces. Gentiles amigos, en esta ocasión nos encontramos en el camerino de la Feria del Estado, que por cierto, para la gran presentación de Lucha Villa, la gran cantante mexicana, una amiga de nosotros, indudablemente amiga de ustedes, una gran artista del cine nacional mexicano, una gran cantante, artista exclusivo de los discos Musart, y aquí la tenemos en carne y hueso y un pedacito de pescuezo, a Lucha Villa. ¿Cómo estás,
¿Cómo
Lucha?
estás, Valentino? ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo están? Buenos.
Oye, es que gusto me da de verte una vez aquí por Nuevo México. Es que, fíjate que se engalana este estado con tu presencia.
¿Será?
Sí, de veras que sí.
No, para la que es un honor es para mí. Además, venir a tu programa que he venido tantas veces.
During my TV career, I was an independent producer. So I produced my own show, I invited my own guests, and I got paid from the commercials that other people bought. When they bought my show, then directly and indirectly, I got my salary out of that. But no TV station, nobody ever signed me a check. Like, for example, if I go to New York and I sold my TV to Ore-Ida Potatoes, for example, or Kellogg's Cornflakes, they would send the check to me because I was the independent producer.
Okay.
And then I would give myself a salary from that. But nobody ever paid me. Like the stations that carry my show never paid me.
This happened throughout your
The whole
career?
The whole banana.
Really? That's amazing.
You see, what I was doing, when I was syndicating my TV show, it was on a barter system. It doesn't exist anymore.
I see.
At least that I know of, because it turns out it was against the law. In those years, it was all right.
Okay.
I heard later on that the government, the FCC, labeled it as against the law. The barter system was that if you gave me, for example, say my show was 1 hour show.
Right.
You're the TV station manager in Sacramento, California.
Okay.
I would tell you, carry my show, but I don't want you to pay me any money for my show. It's going to be free for you, which is a good thing for the TV station.
Sure.
But within the show, there's 14 minutes of commercial time. You can keep 10 minutes of those for yourself, and I'll keep 4 for me, as the producer. So you would say, fine. So I had the right to use 4 minutes of commercial time in that TV station right there. Then I would go to New York or Chicago or somewhere and sell those commercials to national companies like Kellogg's Cornflakes or whatever. They would buy my show in Sacramento, San Francisco, New York, Chicago, whatever, and they would send me a check for all the TV stations combined to me for my 4 minutes. But at no time did I say, the only time that I said, I'm going to start a TV show, only because I saw a necessity for one. There were no TV shows in Spanish in the United States, and particularly in the state of New Mexico. So I saw a void there, a vacuum. Sure. So I said, I'm going to go crawl into that vacuum and do a TV show. And I was only 23 years old. I didn't know anything about TV, nothing, nothing. And I started to hit the TV stations. They would run me away.
Why?
Because they were not familiar with me. I was not known. Okay. And number 2, because they thought it was not necessary to have a Spanish TV show. So I went to several stations. We had the 3 channels, you know, the ABC, NBC, CBS.
Right.
And they would just chase me away. And the last station was the ABC station. And I went, I don't know how many times. And finally, the guy would not see me. And I would walk in, and no, I'm sorry, tell that kid, I don't want to see him. And he called me the kid, see. Yeah. It's a good thing I wasn't Billy the Kid, or I would have taken care of him. But anyway, he wouldn't see me, but One day I noticed that his secretary would leave and he would stay in his office. So I parked the car and I went into the station. And as soon as the secretary left, I stood in front of his desk. And I said, "Who are you?" He says, "I'm Val de la O." "What do you want?" I said, I want a TV show. I want to start a TV show here." "Do you have any experience?" "No." I didn't have any experience, but I still want to do it. So he gave me something impossible to do, and I did it. He told me to sell some commercials, and it's a long story, but I did it. And he gave me a half-hour show, and I started on that show. And I remember the first time I invited a mariachi band and all kinds of things to be on the show, and they didn't show up.
The mariachi didn't show up?
Nobody showed up. And there I was with a TV a half hour of TV time, and I had nobody. And so I grabbed my guitar,
there you go,
and I start singing, and then I would do the commercial. And I would talk about green chili or whatever, and I would talk about furniture or whatever, and then I would come back to my guitar and sing again. And it was pathetic, I'm sure. but I did it. I had a lot of gall.
Well, it
I don't know.
that. I think
and then I started to invite other people, and somewhere along the line I found Mario Leyva, who is my comedian.
Yes.
And then we started to develop comedy acts, and then later on I found Juan Raygosa, who was my co-host, and little by little we started to develop the concept of the show. But I was fired from the first station, and after 1 year. Then I went to the other station. I'm not going to mention the call letters, but then I went to the other station. I stayed there almost 4 years. Then they fired me from there too. Ironically, the second station fired me because I was making too much money.
Really?
Yeah, they thought that I was making too much money. So then when the third station fired me, I said, "That's it. I'm not going to be on TV anymore. I'm tired of this stuff." And the scuttlebutt was that I was going to leave TV. And by this time, the TV stations were in a pile of doo-doo because the FCC was putting pressure on them that they had to have Spanish-speaking programming because Reyes Lopez Tijerina, remember him?
Of course I do.
He filed a lawsuit against them in Washington, D.C. with the FCC.
Right.
And the FCC was putting pressure on the TV stations because they are supposed by law at that time to have Spanish-speaking programming because they have to satisfy the ethnic groups, whatever it may be. If we would have had a lot of Chinese people, I'm sure they would have to have a Chinese program.
Sure.
And the station were scrambling to have a Spanish-speaking personality. And KOB Channel 4 used to get away with murder because every time they would get called before the FCC, they would go up there and say, "We have the Val de la O show."
There you go.
See, and the other stations didn't have anything, and they were looking for another Val de la O, and they couldn't find him. So they offered me all kinds of money, and they wanted me back. And Channel 7, the one that fired me, wanted me back, but of course I didn't go back, and I stayed at this station for over 20 years.
Oh my goodness, okay.
And then of course in early 70s, about 74, 73, I decided to syndicate the show nationally.
Okay.
And we ended up in New York, Chicago, Miami.
And that even made more traveling from now.
Oh my goodness, San Antonio, Dallas, Kansas City, you name it.
That sounds like fun too.
Well, it was fun in a way, but it was a lot of work.
I imagine.
Felicidades. I'd like to say congratulations to Val de la O on the honor that they are presenting him tonight. It is well deserved. I remember watching Val de la O growing up in Las Vegas, New Mexico, watching it there with my grandmother who raised me. He has had much influence on many people. But I want to share a little story. Many years later, I had become a partner of a record label in California called Repertoire Sound. One of our groups, Los Elegantes, had been on the Val de la O show in the 70s. And at the time, a LA Hollywood record label had formed a group called Los Elegantes, and we sued them for name infringement. We asked Val if he would come out and testify, and he graciously said he would, and he came out
was able to testify about his show, testify that the group had been on there, and we won the case. A little side story is that I was to take Val to the airport, and we got on the freeway, and the freeways were backed up, and I decided to take a shortcut, and I got lost. Eventually, we were able to find our way back to the airport in time for Val to get home. Val, again, congratulations. Thank you for all you've done for New Mexico music.
Hi, I'm Stephen Michael Quesada, and it is my honor this evening to present the Michael E. Sanchez Lifetime Achievement Award. This evening, we are giving this award to somebody I've known throughout my lifetime. When I was a kid watching TV, it was really hard for us to find role models, people who looked like us on television, people for us to be inspired to do and grow and learn this type of business. As you know, this business is hard enough, and tonight it is my honor. And not only does he have the coolest name ever, Val de la O. I mean, that is the coolest name ever. If he wouldn't have had that name, I'd have taken it. But Valentino de la O, many years ago, and I know a lot of you remember, was the first person to actually have his own show. It played on all 3 networks at one time here in Albuquerque. And as a kid, couldn't have a better role model. Somebody who held on to our culture, someone who held on to our language, which we've all had struggled to either lose or hang on to. I myself lost our language, but I haven't lost my love for my people, for my culture, and for who I am. And this man, this great man who've accomplished so many things in his life, he's one of those guys that when he put his mind to something, he accomplished it. It is my great honor tonight to present this Michael E. Sanchez Lifetime Achievement Award to one of New Mexico's heroes, Mr. Valentino de la O. I still want that to be my name.
Oh my goodness, this is beautiful. Well, let me read it. The New Mexico Music Hall of Fame, second annual Michael E. Sanchez Lifetime Achievement Award. Val de la O, I'll be done. You mean he's still alive? A lot of people ask me if I'm still alive, and I think so. Well, folks, here I am, Val de la O, and I'm so proud of this guy who just presented this thing to me, because Michael isn't, you know, I'm old enough to be his father practically, and he's not only he's a commissioner here in Albuquerque, but he's also a big movie star, man. You give me your address, your address too, but you can give me your phone number and your autograph. Well, I'm supposed to talk for about 3 minutes. Let me see. Val de la O, boy, he has a long story to tell. You know, in 1961, I started the Val de la O show, but it was not easy. It was not easy. I remember going to Channel 4, and they wouldn't even let me go into the front door. They threw me out. Then I went to Channel 13, and the same thing happened. Get out of here. And they said, well, who is this? Who's this kid? And what does he want? I said, I want a TV show. Are you kidding me? Has he ever been on TV before? No. Does he speak Spanish? Yes. I want a show in Spanish. Yeah, but they wouldn't give it to me. So I finally went to Channel 7, and I was thrown out of there I don't know how many times. But finally, I was able to convince Mr. Max Clore to give me half-hour time. And I started that show 60 or 61, and I kept it for about a year, and then after a year, they fired me. And so by this time, I had made a little bit of name for myself. I ended up with Channel 13, and then I stayed there 4 years, and then they fired me. And then Mr. Jerry Danziger asked me to come over to Channel 4, and I was there for 22 years. And I had a lot of experiences, some good, some bad, whatever, but I grew old at KOB, and we had a lot of things. Some of the common questions that people ask me all the time is, who was your favorite interview? Or who was the most famous person you interviewed? Because I interviewed people like Kirk Douglas, Muhammad Ali, Don Knotts, Ken Curtis, Freddie Fender, bunch of movie stars in English and Spanish, and Don Knotts, of course. But my favorite was Muhammad Ali. And people ask me why, and I say because he was so gentle. He was such a gentleman, and he had come to the studio and he had to wait for me. And he had a little girl in his lap, and he was playing with a little girl, and she was bouncing up and down. And I just loved the guy. But everybody that I interviewed was very, very nice. They were very nice. And I have nothing to say but nice things about all my interviews. So what can I say? So thank you very much for the award. I could go on and on and on, but
One day we want to sit down and tape everything with you, I think, so we can get that. We have it locked down and we have it forever for the future. So when my children grow up and look for heroes in this business and people who work really hard in this business, we want to make sure that they see you and know your
Well, thank you very much. In fact, I have a lot of stories to tell, believe me, and some of stories that are pertinent to New Mexico. And but we don't have the time tonight. But nevertheless,
thank you so much.
Thank you very much for the award, and maybe we'll see you on TV one of these days on reruns, because we have 200 one-hour shows, and the quality is still as beautiful as it was before. So thank you again, guys. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, this concludes the New Mexico Music Hall of Fame's 2020 class induction ceremony. And what an event it was. Forever, these recipient stories will be told through the history that is the New Mexico Music Hall of Fame. I've had an incredible time as your hostess this evening and would like to thank the Board of Directors for the invitation tonight. As we say goodnight, we leave you with a last performance from the one and only Pink Flamingos, and long live New Mexico music.
Everybody get up, express yourself. Yeah, get up. This hit that ice cold, Michelle Pfeiffer, that white gold. This one for them hood girls, them good girls, straight masterpieces. Styling, wildin', living it up in the city. Got Chuck's on and we sing the wrong. I gotta kiss myself, I'm so pretty. Too hot, hot dance. Call the police and the fireman. Too hot, hot dance. Make a dragon want to retirement. Too hot, hot dance. Say my name, you know who I am. Too hot, hot dance. And I'm bad about that money. Let me hear you say, girls hit you, hallelujah. Girls hit you, hallelujah. Girls hit you, hallelujah. Cause Uptown Funk gon' give it to you. Get on now. Uptown Funk's gon' give it to you. Uptown Funk gon' give it to you. Saturday night and we in the spot. Don't believe me, just watch. Come on. Woo. Don't believe me, just watch. Hey. Don't believe me, just watch. 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 Hey, 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 oh! Stop. Wait a minute. Hey, 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 hey. Feeling's getting stronger. Feeling's getting longer. I wanna take celebrate, celebrate, dance to the music. 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 I wanna celebrate, celebrate, dance to the music. I gotta celebrate, celebrate, dance to the music. 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 Celebrate, celebrate.
Friends of the New Mexico Music Hall of Fame, thank you so much for celebrating with us tonight, and congratulations to all this year's inductees. We are honored to be in the company of such great artistry. We are the Pink Flamingos, and you are amazing. Stay well and good night.
¿Por qué es que te dicen por nombre y por qué de cariño? Mujeres firme y fuerte, pato loco por los caminos. If you roll through Burger, que te respeto, estate quieto que aquí me meto. Show amor por the plebe en Sanjo, Los Varelas, the Sticks, this ain't no remix. Sur Baile, Martínez, La Ruca que chuca. Westside, Samile ya estuvo. Wells Park, Johnny Tapia, dime que qué hubo.
So make it green, 'cause you're in demand. So what you pay, yeah. Did you tell me this? You tell me that. Just do your thing, you know what I'm saying? Duke City Life, Duke City Life. Alright, alright, alright. Duke City Life, my family's here. Have no fear. My ride, my gun, my wife, my life, my family. Duke City Life, Duke City Life. This is my hood, it's looking good.
The New Mexico Music Hall of Fame is a 501c3, and like all other nonprofit organizations, we depend on you, the public, to contribute so we can continue our work. If you are interested in donating, simply visit our website, newmexicomusichall-of-fame.com. New Mexico Music Hall of Fame, a supporter of Mike, Musicians in Crisis.